You are listening to the So Now What podcast with Lana Manikowski, episode number 91. I decided that I would talk today about independence. So, this podcast is going to be coming out on July 4th. And in the United States, that is Independence Day. And what I really want to talk about is this maybe this sense of stuckness, or maybe this sense of not feeling independent or free through your fertility journey and maybe the years that have followed since. So, in full disclosure, I recorded a different episode yesterday. I had my hair and makeup done. I looked glorious. And then when I went to go edit the podcast, I realized that I had my microphone on mute. So if you're watching me on YouTube, this is me fresh out of bed, no makeup, just a little bit of moisturizer. If you're listening in and you didn't know that I have a YouTube channel, please subscribe to it. It's lana.manikowski. And I would love to have more subscribers. I have only about 43 subscribers, which isn't a big deal. Like, these numbers of how many followers and how many listeners and all that, I try not to let dictate how good I think I'm doing or how great or resonating my message is. But the YouTube channel is a little bit different than if you listen to the podcast on audio only. It's maybe a little less edited, maybe some more outtakes than you might hear on the podcast. But either way, if you have an opportunity to subscribe to the YouTube channel and you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. If you have a friend that you think would like to listen or watch, please send them the podcast or my YouTube channel to subscribe. So let's get back on track here. Independence Day. And I'm not necessarily going to talk about Independence Day in the United States, but just this sense of feeling independence after your fertility journey ends and you realize that you're not going to be a mom. There is a really common thing that I work with on my students where they're feeling very almost like stuck, because for so long they were in this waiting pattern. And maybe you feel that, like, maybe you know what it feels like to be in this holding pattern of trying to figure out what your life's going to be. Maybe in the short term, it's trying to figure out if you can say yes to a girls' weekend or get tickets to a concert. Maybe in the long term, it's deciding where you want to purchase your next place of living, whether you want to get a house with 4 bedrooms or stay in an apartment with 2. There's a lot of the fertility journey that has us not feeling like we are independent and that we are free to live life the way that we want to. So let's think about how we can pay attention to that and maybe start to regain some of our independence back now that our journey has ended and we know that we're not going to be parents. We know that egg donor wasn't right for us. We know that adoption isn't the thing that we were seeking. So if we want to start to feel like we're living again and feeling independent again, we can start by doing a couple things that I'm going to talk about and teach you about. I also talk about this a lot in my Thrive After Infertility Mastermind, is listening to your brain and not trying to change the way that you think right away or change the way that you thought things were going to be or should have been, but just listening in, paying attention, telling yourself, I'm not going to judge you, but I just want to hear what comes up for you when I think about feeling captive in my story, or I feel like captive in making a decision on what I want to do next. And before I get into that, like, I just want to really normalize the fact that many people feel captive. It's nothing wrong with you or nothing that is unique to you. It's that for so long we were on a plan to become parents, to become a mom, to get pregnant, to go through a cycle, to follow a protocol. So for a long time, by choice, we were following this protocol. We knew what we had to do next. We knew a waiting period, whether it was, a 2-week wait, or whether it was, waiting for your next period to start, or waiting for your medication to get in and knowing what day you were supposed to start your medication. There were so many parts of our fertility journey that we didn't need to be independent because we had the support of our fertility clinics. We had the support of our IVF nurses. We had this time trial of sorts that we knew a general, maybe sketch of how long it would take until our next cycle started. Okay. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to say that if you're feeling like something's wrong with you, that you just don't feel independence in your own life, that is so normal. I work on that all the time with my students and Thrive. So what I'd love to offer you is doing paper thinking. You all know, if you've listened to me for a while, that to me, listening to your brain, not changing what it's telling you, but just paying attention to what it's telling you and maybe jotting it down, is probably the most effective form of starting to create difference in your life. Not change. Maybe I would even say to create awareness in your life. Because when we are aware of why we're feeling as though we are not able to make a decision or say yes to a vacation or go on a cruise with our family, even though we know that our journey has ended, let's pay attention to what our brain is telling us. And maybe our brain is telling us that it's scary. Maybe our brain is telling us that having this freedom again means that our journey through fertility treatments and our journey to motherhood is over. And when we hear that and we feel free, it feels scary because it's almost like this rag that like slaps you in the face to say like, hey, it's you now. It's up to you now. And we may think that that should feel easy and that should feel freeing, but for you, it might just be a reminder that what you wanted so badly is not available to you and things are going to look different for you. So I want just to take some time to pay attention to what are the things that are coming up when you feel like you don't have authority in your life or this independence or this freedom or a desire to feel that way. Okay. And then understand, when you understand what it is that's going on for you, understand, do you even want to? Do you want to take some independence back in your life? Do you want to be somebody who takes authority back in their life? And my guess is you probably do, but there is a lot to unravel to get there. And so the paper thinking will allow you to pay attention to maybe what scenarios are coming up for you where you feel like really stuck in making a decision that you think should be so easy to make. And you think, my gosh, like, why is it so hard for me to decide if I want to go and book a vacation with my husband? Or why is it so hard to decide if I want to get theater tickets with my mom and my sister? And your body is just, in your mind, is just really used to being on hold with a lot of things. And so if you've decided that you want to try to start taking that independence in your life again and taking steps to feeling like you want to be in control of your future again, then maybe pick a couple things that you noticed were hard for you to decide to say yes to, or maybe some things that you've been wanting to do and you've just been finding yourself not saying, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to book this. I'm going to call this person and make plans. I'm going to sign up for this class. I'm going to start working out again. I mean, there's a million and one things that might have come up in your brain that you've been wanting to do and you just haven't said yes to. And I don't want you to pick all of them. Maybe just pick one item at a time, one thing at a time, and start to work on saying yes to that thing and understand, like, why do you want to say yes? Why do you want to go to the theater with your mom and your sister? Maybe it's that you want to start bonding with them again. Maybe it's that you want to start creating activities that enrich you, or maybe you're somebody who loved musicals and you haven't gone seen a musical for so long and you know that that will bring joy to you. Maybe if you understand why you haven't booked a vacation, maybe you and your partner or you and your spouse have been wanting to like go do something fun for so long and you just find yourself saying or talking yourself out of it. Understand, if you went on that getaway, what would that do for you? What would it do for your relationship? What are some things that you could dream about experiencing when you and your partner say yes to this long weekend or this road trip? So I think it's really a good place to start to gain your independence in your life back, and maybe in the activities that you want to partake, to understand where you're feeling stuck when you're finding yourself saying no. What types of things are they? Are they picking out groceries at the grocery store? Or are they like saying yes to commitments, things that are like more commitment, date on the books? I'm doing this on this certain date. And my guess is it's probably the latter. It's probably committing to something that is concrete, something that you have to say yes to ahead of time, buy tickets for, coordinate with other people, like something that's not easy for you to back out of. I'm guessing that's it, because that's commonly when I'm working with my students, that's where they're finding themselves getting stuck. So understanding that, and then picking a couple easy things. Maybe it's not booking a month-long sabbatical in the mountains of Montana. Maybe it's just saying yes to a weekend jaunt, or maybe yes to a girls' weekend somewhere, or something that you can just dip your toe in the water a little bit. And when you say yes, you'll start to say, wow, like these are the things that I want to start doing again. Now that I know my journey is over and I know that I'm not going to be a mom, I want to start experiencing these things that give me so much fun and so much joy. And I really want you to like listen to yourself and not judge yourself, and not tell yourself like it shouldn't be like so hard for me to make these decisions. Just come at yourself from a place of grace. So I hope that helps you this week. And in anticipation of Independence Day, you can start to create more independence in your life. And if you have yet to download the Guide to Loving Your Life Again, it is a free resource that I created. I talk about it every once in a while, and I feel like I don't talk about it enough, because the people that have downloaded it and reached out to me have found so much movement by just taking themselves through the exercises I offer in the guide. So you can download it at lanamanikowski.com/guide. If you follow me on Instagram at lana.manikowski, the link to download it is in my bio. But whatever it is, know that you can love your life again. You can feel independent again. You can thrive again. You can be excited about your future again. And if you're newly out of treatments, it might not be your time yet to reach that. But if you've been listening to me for a while, if you have listened to multiple episodes of this podcast and you hear things resonating with you, and you think to yourself, like, I'm good, but I'm okay with just being good. Because I don't know that my life will ever be great. I want you to just like stop that talk, listen to yourself, and know that good is not good enough for you. You deserve great. You deserve a life that just feels so magnificent. And I know that I try to talk myself in for so long to just like feeling like, okay, my life's good. I'm in a loving relationship. I make good money. I have family and friends nearby, and that'll get me through. And when I realized how fabulous life could be again, I I just get so disappointed in myself for letting so much time go by that I didn't want more for myself, or that I talked myself out of my desire to want more. So don't be one of those people. Don't be Lana 2 years ago who just thought average was okay and that this was as good as it was going to get. And if you're interested in doing something more to create a life where you can thrive and feel fulfilled, I invite you to join Thrive After Infertility. It is the most transformative path you can take yourself on. And to watch the many students that I have coached and worked with and continue to work with for months, and some just stay for 3 months, some go on to stay longer. And the women that have said yes to themselves, to see how magical and to be able to watch them grow and continue to flourish and find their independence is my greatest achievement, I would say, in life, is to be able to have worked on that for me and want others to have it for themselves. So have a beautiful week. I love you. And remember, it is never too late to discover your meaning. I'll talk to you next week.